What's going on, everybody? Quancredible here. And before we get into the review, there is something, pretty serious to talk about that this chapter did, as well as Black Clover just keeps doing over and over and over again, as well as a ton of other series too. But it's just we can't overlook it anymore, and that would be the fan service. Now, if you're one of the people that care a lot about the fan service, we just have one thing to say to you, and hopefully this will clear everything up.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
No, but in all seriousness, what's going on, everybody? Quancredible here, bringing you the review for Black Clover chapter 295. And this chapter, I want to like this chapter so bad. I really do. I want to like this chapter, but there's just so many things happen that I didn't really want to happen, or I just didn't really care for, all like that it hurts. It just hurts. It hurts the chapter for me. It really does. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So basically, the chapter is a rematch. It's actually title rematch, I think. The rematch between Noelle and Vanica. And it starts off just with that, how we ended last chapter, their whole confrontation. But before we get into that, we get a little bit of the flashback of what kind of happened during, the whole Dryad training, where basically Dryad was telling Noelle, hey, before you even learn Ultimate Magic, there's something else that you should learn first. And then this is when Undyne, I know her name is Undine, I know it's pronounced Undine or whatever. I call it Undyne because that's how it sounds to me. That's what I feel like it should be.
Chill.
So basically what happened is when Majecula cursed Undyne, it weakened her and dissolved her contract with Lorpechka. So basically what this is saying is that the curse weakened her so much to where she, disabled her contract with Lorpechka and moved on to someone more suitable, or just suitable in general, which would be Noelle. So this does kind of, I didn't want Noelle to get the water spirit just because the Clover Kingdom have too many spirits, but this instance of her getting the spirit is a little bit different because it's not just like a flat out giving to you, like how Undyne explained it. It sounds like spirits can just actively choose to leave whenever they want, since she herself made it sound like she chose to leave instead of stay afflicted by the curse and move on to someone suited. So it just kind of seems like if Lorpechka does survive this arc, that she could choose to leave Noelle and go back to Lorpechka, which I mean is good and bad for lots of different reasons that I could go into later. But yeah, essentially that is what's going on. And essentially it's like back then when her grimoire was glowing after Vanica had beaten her and everyone was like, oh, she got the water spirit, oh, she got a new spell, this and that. I hope everybody that said she got the water spirit is happy. I hope you guys are proud of yourselves, because congratulations, she got it at the expense of everybody else not wanting it.
I could say something. Oh my God, I could say something, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
But essentially the Dryad brings up that there is another way to destroy devils outside of being arcane, and that would be through attaining something called the Saint Stage.
You serious?
That's something only spirit users can attain, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, we got another stage in this chapter 2. It's like, I was never a fan of the stages. I know some people love them. Some people, if you love the stages, no disrespect to you, but me, I felt like they were stupid. They really should have never even been introduced. They didn't really do anything. Like, I think the sentiment would have been cool had they been in the series earlier when they had more of a chance to make sense. But it's like they just skip. It's like it doesn't really matter unless you're like stage 0 or arcane or now Saint. It just doesn't matter. And of course, Noelle asked the same thing that all of us would have asked in this situation. Hey, why didn't you explain this to us earlier? Then we could have trained up Yuno and Fuegoleon. And Undyne's whole thing is she never wanted to have Lorpechka involved in any of the fighting or anything like that, because she didn't want to ruin Lorpechka's kindness. Because even we get a little flashback of Undyne and the previous princess, or the first queen or whatever, and how she kind of stayed with the Heart Kingdom throughout the entire thing. Lorpechka was very special in the sense of she had immense potential, tons of magic, but she couldn't learn any offensive spells because she's too kind, which is the same thing that Finral has. So it's in the series, it's all in the story. People's personality and actual temperament do affect how they learn magic and how their powers work, which is fine. I'm okay with that. It's just the fact that it just really bothers me that the Heart Kingdom still chose to or not even the Heart Kingdom, but that Undyne still chose to let Lorpechka be queen instead of trying to find literally anyone else, just because this is just a big deal. You're the leader of a country, you're the leader of a nation. You can't just not be able to attack. You can't, you like, that's kind of important. If that's the case, I kind of feel like maybe the Heart Kingdom should have adopted a system similar to the Clover Kingdom, where you just have an actual king or queen that is that is like royalty, and just have like a like wizard king who's like in charge of the military. Granted, you can make the argument that the Heart Kingdom doesn't have a military because they're a peaceful nation, but just because you're a peaceful nation doesn't mean that all the other countries are going to be a peaceful nation. That's kind of the funny thing about how the world works. At least the world in most things work. Just because you're peaceful doesn't mean everyone around is just going to be peaceful. So I just feel like the Heart Kingdom and Undyne as a whole were just really stupid and really naive in this exact moment. Now, this doesn't make Laura Petchka or Undyne bad characters. This doesn't make them bad. It just makes them stupid. And that's not really slander, if you ask me. Like, I mean, people could say, "Oh, Quan with the Laura Petchka slander," "Oh, Quan with Undyne slander." It's not slander. If someone does something dumb and you call it dumb, you're just literally stating what happened. And that's what's going on right now. I'm stating what happened. They were all stupid in this situation, and honestly got what was coming to them. But they even take it a step farther, as even leaving the world in more potential danger for the sake of Laura Petchka's feelings. Which, you know, you could make the argument of that's a beautiful character moment for Undyne, but it's still so stupid. That was so dumb. That was really dumb. Like people call William and Raya stupid. This is up there with them. This is really stupid. But, you know, despite her selfish choice and all of that, you know, Noelle tells her, you know, caring for someone isn't a mistake, which is true. And, you know, they're going to work together to achieve this new form and take the fight to Vanica. So we do get to see a little clip of, like, you know, Laura Petchka fighting against Gaja, which is very sad, because Laura Petchka is attacking Gaja. She's crying. You know, Vanica's telling Gaja to, like, don't just defend. He's telling her to fight too, or telling Gaja to fight Laura Petchka too, and it would just be really, so like, Gaja's not getting beat up. He's just defending himself. So Gaja could potentially get beat up before, you know, Vanica is beaten, because I'm assuming that's how this fight is going to go. It's pretty much going to be take down Vanica, so the whole curse on Laura Petchka will end, which would hopefully break everything, and everything will go somewhat back to normal. But yeah, in the midst of all this, we do get Noelle starting to transform, and then kind of her just going off on Vanica, saying like how this is all her fault, and that, you know, people like her shouldn't be allowed to like laugh and make other people cry and all that other kind of stuff. And then we get her new form, you know, the Spirit Drive Saint Valkyrie dress, which, you know, the form looks dope. People, dude, it's fan service. Shut up. No one cares. It's not that deep. It's like literally all anime and manga. If you care that much, you wouldn't even watch anime or manga if it mattered to you that much. But the form itself does look dope. I am hyped to see what she can do. It kind of worries me a little bit, the thing with like temporary or potentially temporary forms, because she might not be able to do this again, just because of like the whole thing with her and Undyne. Like, I don't know if Undyne's gonna stay with her, or if she's gonna go back to Laura Petchka after this, or if Laura Petchka's gonna die, because Laura Petchka does have major death flags. Like, I really dislike that term, but like, I feel like Laura Petchka's death flags are up there with Yami and William, if I had to say someone had them. Now, the whole thing with Noelle getting this form in like less than 3 days, I can kind of give it a pass, considering she had Dryad and Undyne telling her probably exactly what to do to achieve it, and Noelle does have a ton of mana, and she does seemingly have, well, not seemingly, she does have the mana control to be able to do it. If you mastered runes and mana method, all that, then you should no doubt be able to handle a Spirit Dive, like, without a doubt, in my mind. So it's not too crazy to think that she'd be able to do this. It just sucks that like Undyne didn't tell anybody about this, because Fuegoleon and Yuno could have been like very prepped for this fight. It's also debunks one of the things that I've thought for a long time. I don't know if anybody else thought this, but I was always one of those people that thought that like Spirit Dive was exclusive to Belle and Yuno. Like, I didn't really think it was a other spirit thing. But hey, this opens the door for Fuegoleon. So this dang near confirms Fuegoleon more than likely has a Spirit Dive, or at least has the potential to learn it. So Spirit Dive Fuegoleon more than likely inbound this chat, or in this arc, which is crazy, because I feel like if he attains that will put him over all the other captains. Like, he's already like in the conversation for top captain, so like, you give him Spirit Dive, then he's definitely over everybody else. That's just kind of how I feel. Like, I don't know. I think Spirit Dive Fuegoleon would definitely be over everybody else. I am curious to know how you guys feel about that. You guys think Spirit Dive Fuegoleon be stronger than everybody else? And also the Undyne thing, just like, you guys feel like she's really dumb, or like she should have handled it differently, or you guys like understand? Like, despite how I feel about it, I do kind of understand how she feels, But at the same time, it's like, man, that was stupid. But that's just me. I am curious to know how you guys feel about the whole thing. I also want to know, were you some of the people that were pumped up for Noelle getting Spirit Dive, or if you guys were like, no, this is kind of crazy and doesn't make any sense? Because I know, like, this definitely kind of split here. And not to be confused, the form looks hype, and I am hyped for it. That part of the chapter I am hyped for. The Noelle rematch against Vonica. That is what I am mostly hyped for. A lot of the stuff with Lord Petra and Undyne, it took it down for me just because I didn't like how it went personally. But that's just me. So all in all, I give the chapter, as unbiased as I possibly can, a 7 if I'm going unbiased. If I'm going biased, if you want how I really feel, like if I take my personal feelings into account, it's like a 4 because I really did not like it. So 7 if I'm trying to be fair, 4 if I'm feeling how I really want to feel. So that's just that. Let me know how you guys feel about it down below. I'm very curious. Aside from that, make sure you guys like the video as well as subscribe to the channel for more Black Clover content. And aside from that, I will see you all in my next video.